Welcome in to SoFi Stadium. Joining you live from Los Angeles is the 7-7 Saints. Get ready to take on the 7-7 Rams tonight on Thursday night. We got a lot of things to get to, but first, some breaking news from Nick Underhill.
Yeah, Kendrick Miller will not be active tonight. Not a surprise. We had heard that last week. Dennis Allen left the door open this week for the rookie to come back from that lingering injury. He's not quite ready yet. I've been told that next week is actually the target for it, so maybe we see him not this upcoming Sunday, but the Sunday after that when the Saints play again against Tampa Bay, but he will not play today against Los Angeles.
Which is a disappointment because the last time he was in this building, that was when he ripped off that amazing catch and run back in the preseason. Disappointing that we won't get to see him, but we will get to see a lot of guys featured today, which does include Chris Olave. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our live pregame question and answer show presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. I'm going to be paying attention to the live chat, taking some of your questions live publicly for about 10 to 15 minutes, then we will move over to the members-only private link that you can access on NewOrleans.Football. If you are not a member now, go ahead and get over to NewOrleans.Football and sign up for our pregame show. Man, a lot of playoff implications on the line tonight. One of the reasons why the Saints, this might be the biggest game in Dennis Allen's head coaching tenure as a New Orleans Saint. This is his second year as a head coach. And Nick, why is it that it is so crucial that the Saints win in tonight's game?
Well, I think it sets up everything going forward, and they don't hold a tiebreaker over Tampa Bay, so they could beat Tampa next week, end up with the same record, and they will not win the division. So I think you just kind of got to handle business where you can handle it, and fate is not in your own hands. So just win out on these games. But even beyond just that, Brooke, I think that they have a chance to kind of get some momentum going and just get rolling a little bit. So I think that's a situation that they should take advantage of. And I think it's just a matter of feeling good about what you're doing, too. And I think the team feels like they are in a good spot, that they are building towards something. And I think if you win today, you can kind of get that going a little bit.
All right, according to ESPN Analytics, New Orleans has a 42% chance to make the playoffs. The Rams have a 54% chance. Of course, that changes if the Saints get a win tonight against the Rams. What are some of the biggest keys to the game?
I mean, I think they got to just really, number one, take care of Aaron Donald. I mean, that's key, number one, overall. Yeah. Number two, you got to find a way to shut down these receivers. I think specifically in the slot, Cooper Kupp, Alontae Taylor, that's a tough matchup. So I think Alontae Taylor's going to maybe have the biggest test of his season today. And then you got Puka on the outside and Tutu Atwell. Like, there's a lot of guys where I think if your secondary is a little bit torn up, you got to do all those things well. And then number three, nobody's ever going to block as well as they blocked last week against New York. But you got to come in and block better than you have been in a lot of these other games. And if you can do that, Derek Carr can settle in. He can find his spots. He can get into a rhythm. He's not going to be able to do it by himself. He's not someone that can just, he needs help. So give him the help he needs to be able to succeed.
I think imposing their will in the run game, number one, is going to be the biggest key to success for the Saints. In the last 5 games, the Rams have done a really great job of stopping the run. Right now, as a total, they're only giving up 110.8 rushing yards per game on the season, but man, they've really improved in the last few games. I'd like to see Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, what that duo can do and get the Saints off to the right start. Handling Aaron Donald is going to be the biggest test, but credit to Landon Young and what he was able to do last week against a team, the Giants. They blitzed third highest in the NFL. He handled it well, didn't give up any pressures from the right side of the offensive line. Really impressed by him. We know that Cam Irving is up today, though, which is such a smart decision because you never know how flow of a game is going to be. Aaron Donald has injured a Saints player before, Drew Brees. Yeah. We remember that game. Aaron Donald is so vicious at the line of scrimmage that you really do need a clean backup at offensive line just based on how stiff the challenge is going to be. And potentially, look, Cam Irving put it best. You have to lose slow because with a guy like Aaron Donald, you're not going to win every rep. You have to kind of mentally already accept that fact. But keeping Derek Carr as clean as possible, I would expect to see a lot of Cesar Ruiz and Landon Young kind of doubling Aaron Donald. That's my second thing, handling Aaron Donald. And then get Chris Olave involved. There's some deep balls. Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave are going to be healthy today. They're back in their home state. The guys are going to be fired up to be playing back here. And it's just, buzz is a word that we continue to hear around the locker room from the players themselves. I think they bring that buzz into SoFi Stadium. They might have a really good chance of winning this game. And then you're in a position, do you win out and make the playoffs? The Saints, everything is ahead of them right now.
I thought you made maybe the best point of the week, and we'll see if it actually holds up. But I think it was the best point of the week when you said that this short week is going to benefit the Saints having Landon Young in there because you can't prepare for him as much. So
you don't have a lot of tape on him.
You just kind of got to go out there and play. It's talent on talent. I think Landon Young has some talent. I think he's still a little bit raw, but I don't know that we're going to see that get exposed today because of that. So I thought that was like a really it's just something that might help him tonight.
Yeah.
But the other thing you said too that I agree with. I mean, I'm still kind of like I don't know if I buy. Like I got to see a little bit more of all this stuff, but I think you're right. There is buzz amongst these players. The players believe in kind of some of the stuff that they're seeing. They believe that in their momentum right now. They think they can go out there and play some games and make some stuff happen. And that's a good sign. I mean, because there was a lot of frustration, and for them to kind of feel that way, I thought it was. I think it's kind of telling, and you're hearing that a little bit behind the scenes, not just like when the cameras are in front of them, but like people are actually saying this. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can build on that. But they believe they are peaking right now at the right time.
Yes.
For me, for you, we're going to find out.
We'll see. It's consistency, right? That's the one thing that everybody has been asking to see from the Saints. Can they put it together? I will say one of the coaches were walking by and even joked like about Nick's jacket being in Christmas, and Nick kind of joked back with him and said, you know, where are your festive gear at? And he's like, not right now, man. We're locked in. Like the fact that it's that high of intensity right now is something good to hear. I see Jimmy Graham walking over to the bench. What kind of impact can he have on a game like this today?
Look, Jimmy Graham, he's just got to go out there and do his thing. Like, make a couple plays, and then, you know, you hit it, you get your touchdowns. You have 6 catches, 4 touchdowns.
Hey, his numbers are pretty good. Talk about consistency and efficiency. That guy either is going to give you a first down or a touchdown. Yeah,
absolutely. And, look, them figuring out how to use him, I think, has been a huge thing for them. Getting him involved, those third downs, I think helps with the third down numbers. And I think key number 4, let's just stick with it, like being good in the red zone again.
Absolutely.
I think that's a huge thing. 9 of
10 in the last 3 games. That says what it needs to say. That's impressive. That is an impressive feat given how much they struggled at the beginning of the year in the red zone.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's that extra day of practice and just kind of doing that stuff. And I think when Derek Carr feels good about himself, it's easier for everybody else to feel good about him too. And I think that has solved a lot. I think that's kind of been a little bit of a, salve, like on the wound, and it's helped. So him being good down there, it's something that guys on defense notice. It's something that the guys on offense notice. It's something Derek Carr notices. He's coming in, pounding his chest a little bit. Dennis Allen's pounding his chest over the quarterback. Look, whatever. Like, if everybody's feeling good about it, it gives you a better chance to win a game like this today. So we'll see if they can keep that up, and I think that's been important for them.
Everybody keeps asking us in the chat about the stadium and whether it will rain or not. Remember, the last time we were here, there was an earthquake and a hurricane. So, no, it was raining the whole time.
There's locusts
and it's
all
actually,
that.
it's a soft, I know you can't see it, I'm looking up. It's almost like a soft cover on the top of the stadium. So, yes, rain is going to leak through. Thankfully, it is not yet. The rain has not been that bad today. I know that some people have been throwing some questions into the chat. We will continue to get to those. I believe somebody asked about the Michael Thomas situation, and just can we get an update on where he's at? Is he going to be here today? Where's he rehabbing, all that?
So, yeah, he's rehabbing on his own, not necessarily with the team, but that's how Mike does his stuff. He handles his medical stuff outside of the building.
Yeah.
If I was Mike Thomas, I would be handling my medical stuff outside the building because the medical stuff that happened inside the building was not good for him. So he should do what he needs to do away. I understand his situation totally. So do they. They let Mike kind of do his own thing with the rehab. He's going to be ready when he's ready. And I think, again, I've said this over and over and over, if he comes back, I think it will be for the Atlanta game at the end of the season. So that's kind of the one to circle. And I think it's dependent on where the team's at in their playoff pursuit and all that stuff, too. So I think he has a chance to come back this season, but I don't think it'll be until that last week.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's an unfortunate situation, especially that guy dealing with injury. All right, speaking of injuries, let's get to who is officially ruled out. You've heard us talk about Landon Young a whole lot. That is because Ryan Ramczyk is ruled out for tonight's game, as well as Isaiah Foskey, Lonnie Johnson, Peyton Turner. We now know that Kendre Miller, he was questionable, and for people just now tuning in, Nick, give the Kendre Miller update one more time.
He will be inactive today. He's not going to make his return. I think he will be back next week. Not today. He's not going to play today. And Dennis Allen had left the door open, but clearly, I mean, it's not going to happen today.
Chris Olave is slowly reaching a milestone. Do you think that he gets to 1,000 receiving yards in tonight's game?
Do the math because I'm bad at it. I think he needs 88 yards to get to 1,000 today.
He has 918, so 918, he would need 82?
82. They say we mess up the math every time we do it live. I think it's 82.
We're doing our best.
18 plus 82, yeah.
Broadcast majors, you know the drill.
Yeah. So 82. Yeah, I think he has a chance to do it today. I think Derek Carr is going to want to get him involved early on in this game, get into a rhythm, get your best player going, and they have a chance to do that. So, yeah, I think I'm going to bet yes on the over. 82, I'm going to take the over or the push on 82. How about you?
Yeah, all right. In 15 games played last year as a rookie, he had 1,042. He's really close to – look, I think 82 is a stretch, but I believe in his last game that he was up, didn't he have 100 receiving yards?
Carr was going at him heavily. I think Mike Thomas being out gives him a good chance.
I'm looking up the stat right now. I'm almost positive because the last game he was up was Carolina, right?
82 was a tough number.
No, that's where he went down. So against Detroit, he had 119 receiving yards. So it's possible.
82
if he's as healthy and hungry as we expect. But this gets to a really good point. Derek Carr finally was spreading the wealth and was getting the ball to a lot of different receivers in last week's game. Well, not Sunday's game. And you had 10 different receivers, and that proved to be really successful for the New Orleans Saints. So maybe it does need to be one of those games and not just forcing it to Rashid Shaheed and forcing it to Chris Olave, right?
Maybe so. I mean, I think you can win either way. But, yeah, I think they're probably at their best when they're spreading the ball around. The 10 different guys is crazy. I mean, I thought their attack last week was super efficient. And, look, I'll say this. I think one of the things that Carr has done that's maybe to his detriment is that, like, he'll lock onto a guy early in a game, and then he kind of just wants to go there every single time. So when he is spreading it out, I think he is at his best. So I think it's both things, though. If you can spread it out and Chris has a high volume, I think you're in a good place. So maybe try to get the best of both worlds. I think 82 is a tough number, but I'll take the over. It sounds like you're on the under, but I think it's going to be around it somewhere in that neighborhood. It's just, is it 82 or is it 70? Like, I think for them to win, he has to have a decent amount of yards today.
I could see it happening either way. The reason why I think he could get to 100 in today's game is because it's a short week. So while everybody else is banged up and trying to recover, Chris is fresh. And just what goes into the short week. Look, the Rams are also on a short week. You've got to deal with sleep during the week because now they're on a different time zone. We didn't see them really practice a full practice when you and I were still in town when we left on Wednesday. Wednesday is when they had the first real official practice, but even that was a lighter day compared to what their, I guess, usual Friday practice would be. So it's a toss-up as to what Saints team we will see today. It's a matter of how do they want to present themselves? Do they want to come out fast like they did against the Giants and be this complete team, offense, defense, and special teams? But it's going to begin and end with handling Aaron Donald, who he only has 6 sacks on the season. So he's a guy that's underperforming right now, but he is going to get to the quarterback. Derek Carr has mentioned how he remembers going up against him in the Senior Bowl and having scars still on his legs from Aaron Donald kind of chipping away at him a little bit. How do you think Derek Carr knowing Aaron Donald will maybe help him in a game like today?
I mean, shoot, you just got to get rid of the ball quick. You know, you can't be back there holding it for too long because he's going to find a way to get through. So even when you're blocking ball, I think you just kind of have to operate and have that. If you're hitting 2.5 seconds when you're on the wrong side of it, you're in danger. So just don't let it happen. So try to find those quick outlets. Try to do it. Plan your shots a little bit, but be smart about it and kind of know that they're going to be coming. I'm going to be interested to see how much play action they use in this game because if you have Carr's back turned just for that little moment, you could be turning around back into Aaron Donald real quick. So you got to be smart about how you're doing things today. So just get the ball out quickly. And that's kind of one of the things that they haven't done great this year. There's not a lot of great stuff over the middle. It's been getting better the last few weeks. So if what we've been seeing is real, okay, maybe it helps. So I think today's like a great day for the fact or fiction of like all the little, is it positive or is it negative? And I think it's a great dividing point in the season to kind of find out if the Saints are for real or not.
You know what's interesting about this matchup? The animosity between the Rams and the Saints. And I'm not just talking about the NOLA no call. It's an easy one to bring up. We were talking with Demario Davis this week, and he mentioned that the Saints needed the Rams to win a few years ago. Is what actually Sean's last year here as the head coach. And the Saints needed the Rams to win a game. They didn't. It knocked the Saints out. And you were talking with Demario, too, about it. Like, man, it looked like the Rams almost did it on purpose a little bit.
Well, I mean, like, they had a huge lead, and then they lost the game. And I remember, I think the Saints were playing the Falcons, and they got, like, this, like, little bay of TVs in the press box in the back by the dining area. And all the executives are sitting around these TVs looking at them. And they're just sitting there. And I'm not going to say who was saying what, but there was a lot of MFers and a lot of commentary. there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams.
Yeah.
And it still exists, and I kind of like it. I like that the people that were around back then still kind of feel that way. It's cool to just have everything kind of be authentic and real. And look, the Saints feel the same way the fans do about the Rams. Like, they hate them, they want to beat them, and I mean, there's a little bit extra on this one for sure.
All right, we've hit our mark on the public live show, NewOrleans.Football live pregame Q&A show presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. Now it's time to head over to the members only, which is a private link that if you're not on that YouTube link right now, go to NewOrleans.Football, scroll down just one point, and you'll see under analysis and click that link, and it'll open up YouTube. You can also click where it says YouTube. It'll open up the page on YouTube so you can continue to interact with